of St. Louis, Bally Sports Midwest, the heart of the fan.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Downtown St. Louis and Busch Stadium the scene. Game number 2, the Washington Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to Cardinals baseball with Brad Thompson. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We are delighted to have you with us. Should be a great pitching matchup. Stephen Strasburg going for the Nationals. And Brad, tonight the Cardinals will counter with Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, it should be a good one here. Jack Flaherty on the bump. The Cardinals are looking to get back on the right track, and Jack Flaherty is the guy to get him there. How's he going to do it? Well, it starts with locating his fastball. If Jack wants to get to the nasty slider and the nasty curveball, he's going to have to locate his heater. He's used it 54% of the time so far this year. He's got the good velocity. I know the Nationals hit the fastball well. That doesn't mean a well-located fastball doesn't work, and Danny's been pretty good at home.
You look at the lowest OMERA active National League leaders. You got Flaherty going tonight. Waino, Brad, will go tomorrow.
It's a nice 1-2 punch. Again, the Cardinals are looking to get a little momentum. Momentum is as good as your next day's starting pitcher.
Tommy Edman is in the starting lineup for St. Louis. And at the top of that lineup, the switch hitter off to a good start. The Nationals and the Cardinals coming up on Bally Sports. Want to be known as a team with good defense, solid fundamentals, and they're getting that so far from a rookie. It's the Nationals and Cardinals tonight, game number 2. And Brad, we're talking about Dylan Carlson.
This is a play right here on the home opener. He robs Lorenzo Cain. The Cardinals don't have a chance to come back and win this ball game if he doesn't make that play, and then he's going to show off the arm a little bit. This is last night double play to get out of a jam. Showing it off. Look, offensively, there have been some ups and downs. Defensively, he's been sound.
Jack Flaherty for St. Louis. On the flip side, a former World Series MVP and Stephen Strasburg. The Nationals, the Cardinals, next on Bally Sports. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Game number 11 of this young season for the St. Louis Cardinals as they take the field here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Game 2 of the 3-game series, the Washington Nationals, the St. Louis Cardinals, and a cool night for baseball that is 61 degrees here in the Gateway City. With Brad Thompson, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And we're delighted to have you with us as Jack Flaherty makes the start tonight. Good pitching matchup. Partner, we got Jack Flaherty and Stephen Strasburg.
Yeah, this should be a great one. And Jack Flaherty coming off a nice outing the last time against the Marlins. Went 6. You see the one quality start there. It's the only quality start that the Cardinals have had in 10 games so far this season. And they're going to need another one from Jack Flaherty in this ball game. Things have been trending in a bad direction for the Cardinals. They won 4. Now they've lost 3 straight. So they're going to look to Jack Flaherty to get things going. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jack Flaherty. A lot of four-seam fastball, slider, curveball. Jack pitches off of that fastball so well, so his command of that thing is going to be big.
Davey Martinez slowly but surely seeing his lineup come together. They were hit with COVID. And so Victor Robles at the top. Then Turner, Soto, Bell, the former Pirate, Schwarber, the former Cub, along with Castro, Harrison, Avila, and the pitcher batting ninth, Stephen Strasburg. Brad Thompson's Toyota key to the game.
Well, for the Cardinals, it's just time to right the ship, as we were talking about. They've dropped 3 in a row, and no better time than when you have Jack Flaherty on the bump. A lot of things got to fall in place for the Cardinals. They've been trying to piece together some offense, figure some things out, but now is the time. You got Jack on the mound, go get him.
We're thinking that tonight As you get a look at Davey Martinez, might be game number 2,000 for Yadi behind the plate. He's on the bench. You do have Wainwright going tomorrow, so maybe that's some of the thought process there.
It was going to be one game or the other. It was going to be either tonight or tomorrow in the day game, with it being a nooner, and they decided to go the other direction. And seeing those two together tomorrow, it's going to be fun. And game number 2,000 behind the plate, I mean, it's amazing. It's unbelievable, the beating that he's taken, the amount of time he just spent back there. The fact that he's doing it to this level is amazing.
And his next appearance behind the plate will mark his 2,000th career game. Sixth player to reach that mark and the first to do so with one team. And the first pitch is taken for a ball by Victor Robles. He's hit safely in 6 of 7 games and reached safely in all 7 games. 2 balls and no strikes.
Robles wasted no time yesterday in the ball game. He saw the first pitch. It was a fastball away from John Gant and roped it off the wall in right center for a triple.
And the 2-0 is a fly ball lifted in the air to right field. On the move, Tommy Edman. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. So again, Tommy Edman in right field tonight with Matt Carpenter at second base. Cardinals, though, need a starter to go deep, as Brad mentioned. Flaherty picked up the win in Miami last week, gave up 1 hit, 6 scoreless. But that is the only time a starter has made it through the 6th inning this season. That is it. And tonight, game number 11. 3-1 the count.
Well, Jack Flaherty should be the guy, and he is the guy for the Cardinals that the bullpen looks in and say, you know what, I'm going to lean back a little bit further today, because he's the guy that you can trust to get you deeper and deeper into ball games.
Lance Barksdale gives that one to Flaherty. He's the home plate umpire tonight. Sean Barber at first. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, at second base. Dan Bellino is at third. And the full count delivery. Got him. A strikeout of Robles.
Just a good slider here. You saw against Robles, he'd thrown the fastball outside a couple of times. This looks like the fastball and then just drops right off. Got Robles in swing mode. He struck out 3 times in the ball game yesterday.
Now Trey Turner, the 27-year-old shortstop who led Major League Baseball with 78 hits a year ago.
A little surprising that Trey Turner was the only regular without a hit yesterday.
You think about him and Soto for sure. 2 and 3 in their lineup. And a breaking pitch that is in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. The starters are averaging for the Cardinals just 4 1/3. Starters ERA is about 6.5. So that's got to change tonight.
Yeah, needless to say, that ain't going to cut it.
Nope.
This team is still going to be built. The success, the nucleus, is still going to be built off of pitching and defense. And I know that Mo had talked about this, John Mozeliak, about your starting pitchers. Don't look at it as a group of 5. Look at it as a big group. It's going to take a lot in a year like this. But that group has a lot of depth, but the results haven't been there early on.
And the 2-1 pitch by Flaherty. 2-2. And you have the defense behind you that the Cardinals do have on an everyday basis. Throw strikes, and for the starters, only 39% of their pitches are inside the strike zone. So you're talking about being aggressive inside the strike zone. 2-2. Just off the plate.
Pretty good pitch right there. 97 downhill. That number with the, within the strike zone is low. I think that's a product of baseball right now, though, overall. That's not just a Cardinal thing.
He struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jack Flaherty. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Justin Williams in left, Dylan Carlson in center, Tommy Edman in right field. Arenado, DeYoung, Carpenter, Goldschmidt on the infield. And making his first start of the year, Andrew Knizner behind the plate. Last night, 3, 4, and 5. Soto, Bell, Schwarber went 6 for 12. And Soto has reached base in half of his plate appearances to start his season. 9 hits, 6 walks, and 2 of the hardest hit balls in the ball game in Game 1 here at Busch Stadium just last night.
And you get a good look at the Soto shuffle on the first pitch. Get a look at this stance, how wide he is. He'll even widen out more with 2 strikes.
Jimmy Edmonds is in the ballpark tonight. Cardinals honoring many of the Hall of Famers and Cardinal Hall of Famers. I always marveled at his power with that type of stance, wide stance, and he'd let the ball get deep and hit the ball the other way. More than half of the home runs that Soto hit last year were in the bleachers in left field, not right. He was a guy that goes to center or left. A big wide stance.
Yeah, strong base anyhow. Trust your hands.
So deep in the box. And that front foot is turned in, then uses that, as he talks about, as a trigger mechanism to just explode on the baseball. 3-1.
Jack Flaherty, by the way, 2 strikeouts to start this game. That's 494 for his career. That passes Danny Cox, one of our favorites, for 44th all time. I know Coxie's probably watching.
If not, he's fishing.
That is true. It's one or the other.
So 2 outs and nobody on. The shift here used by the Cardinals defensively, and Soto grounds it into the shift. Carpenter will make the play just in time, and Soto pointing towards the dugout as if to say he's safe. That is awfully close.
Well, not only does he hit a bunch of bombs, he runs stuff out. This is just a regular ground ball to second base, but he's cooking here. I got him.
No challenge by Davey Martinez. And Tommy Edman coming up. Steven Strasburg to the mound. And there's no score after a half inning. Tommy Edman, the Cardinals' leadoff hitter. Then Goldschmidt, Arenado here in the first. DeYoung, Carpenter, Carlson, Knizner, Williams, and Flaherty. Steven Strasburg gave up just 1 hit, 6 innings. That was his debut against the Braves. It was Game 2 of a Wednesday doubleheader. Nats lost that game 2-0 on a pinch hit 2-run homer by Pablo Sandoval. Yes,
that is still doing it.
Yeah, that Pablo Sandoval.
Hyundai pitch arsenal here for Steven Strasburg. The good hard fastball, curveball, changeup. His off speed disappears. Look, some guys are just built for durability and longevity, Dan, and I think that Pablo Sandoval fits into that category.
I guess so.
I feel like we've been looking at things wrong over the years in terms of fitness and body types. Panda's got it figured out.
Well, he would not be a bodybuilder in a Cardinal uniform or a Major League uniform. We got that. That's Tyler O'Neill. He's in left field a lot of times. And then there's Pablo Sandoval, who's not as defined, if you will.
Isn't that what's beautiful about baseball, Dan?
You can be tall, you can be short,
you can throw really hard,
or you can
have an 88, 89 mile an hour sinker.
You did
good
that.
Defense.
You did that.
I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying in general.
The 1-2, 2-2. Well, including the playoffs, and we saw him in Game 3 of 2019. Steven Strasburg has made 9 starts against the Cardinals and has an ERA just over 2. 3 or fewer runs in all 9 of those starts. And the 2-2. Edman lifts a fly ball into shallow left. And Schwarber comes in to make the catch. Schwarber in left field as we go around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Robles in center, Soto is in right. Castro, Turner, Harrison, and Bell on the infield, and Alex Avila is behind the plate. So Avila behind the plate, catching Steven Strasburg, and that is launched out to deep left field. Home run number 250 in the career of Paul Goldschmidt. His first of the year, jumped on that pitch, and it's home run number 250.
Well, on opening day, he came inches away from number 250. This time, not messing with it at all. Gets himself a fastball middle in, and I love the aggressiveness early in the count. And hopefully he's able to get that baseball 250. What a milestone that is.
Nolan Arenado struck out 3 times last night. That is a rarity for Arenado. Saw his hit streak come to a close. Goldschmidt, the 9th player to hit home run number 250 in a Cardinals uniform. Some great names on that list. Stan the Man, the captain Kenny Boyer, Orlando Cepeda, Jimmy Edmonds, who's at the ballpark tonight, Reggie Sanders, Albert Pujols, Scott Rowland, and Matt Holliday. And now Paul Goldschmidt. 2-0 pulled foul.
That's kind of a who's who list right there.
Big time.
I don't know if it adds to the list, but I've given up somebody's 250th home run. Former Cardinal, Troy Gloss. No big deal.
It happens. Missed inside, 3-1. It's 106 miles per hour off the bat, 385 feet. And his 41st of those 250 with the Cardinals. The 3-1 pitch. In the air. Left field. Schwarber over on the track and makes the catch. Paul DeYoung back in the cleanup spot. You may remember it was Jack Flaherty and Steven Strasburg in Game 3 of the 2019 NLCS. One of the best games for Strasburg in his playoff career. There's a breaking pitch and a strike. And he's turned out to be one of the great postseason pitchers ever. 55 1/3 innings in October and a 1.46 ERA. And for pitchers that have thrown 40 or more innings in October, playoff baseball, World Series, the only ERAs better than this guy, Mariano Rivera, and Sandy Koufax. That's it.
That's all that's on the list.
That would be it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, he was. I enjoy watching pitchers that are just in the zone. And 2019 postseason, you could tell. You could see it in his eyes. He wanted it badly.
The 1-2. He's been through so many different injuries. Tommy John, shoulder issues. Last year, carpal tunnel syndrome in his right hand. So they basically went to the season without Steven Strasburg. The 2-2. And a full count on the Cardinals shortstop. Saw an 0 for 25 snap last night with a base hit to center. Matt Carpenter also snapped an 0 for 12 with a bunt against the shift.
You hope that both of those are kind of a sign of things to come. You know, for Paul DeJong, it was nice to shoot that one up the middle. Carpenter's was dropping down a bunt.
And a strikeout of Paul DeJong. First strikeout for Steven Strasburg. The home run for Paul Goldschmidt. Number 250 of his career, number 1 in 2021. 1-0 after 1.
Goldschmidt, number 250, and the Cards lead 1-0 in St. Louis. Johan Oviedo sent out to the Cards' alternate site today, but he made quite an impression. He threw 4 2/3 scoreless innings on Sunday against Milwaukee. Mike Schilt told me part of sending Oviedo out is to keep him built up because he will be used as a starter later this month when the Cards hit that stretch of playing 17 straight days. They love what they saw from Ovi. John Mozeliak told me he's someone we've always been excited about. In a perfect world, he could end up being a top of the rotation starter. Dan, we will see Oviedo in the not too distant future right back here.
Yeah, and why not? He was so good following Daniel Ponce de Leon on Sunday. This is Josh Bell at the plate. So Cody Whitley recalled from the alternate training site, and we'll see him at some point, I'm sure. A 3-0 pitch to Bell. Turned him loose on 3-0. Bell was 1 for 3, couple of walks, 2 runs scored last night. Switch hitting first baseman. Was acquired on Christmas Eve from the Pirates. 5 years with Pittsburgh, former All-Star in 2019. On to play again, full count.
I feel like a lot of people forgot about that deal because it happened a little bit earlier than everything else. Usually January stuff starts going a little bit. That was a huge pickup for the Nationals. You need a little bit of protection. You saw it last night. The difference of having him back in the lineup, having Schwarber back in the lineup.
Into the shift and bobbled. A rare error on Nolan Arenado. You could see he was really in between on what to do.
He was for sure, and he ends up trying to catch it on a little bit of a shorter hop, and it hits him right in the heel. Very rarely do you see that too. The stutter step before the play. Get a good look at it right here. Good pitch. Just caught right in between.
He's human after all.
I got a feeling he'll make some sort of a play in this game probably that'll make up for that one.
Here's Schwarber and a fastball outside. Last year he made 3 errors. Year before in 155 games he made 9. The most he's ever committed in a season was his first full year in the big leagues. Nolan Arenado had 17 errors. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. A couple of years ago, Kyle Schwarber hit 38 home runs. Doesn't hit for a high average, but he's going to hit his fair share of home runs.
You wonder too if you'll see that average jump up a little bit with some changes that he's made with his setup. He crouches a little bit lower. The head doesn't move as much.
Last season batted .188. Still knocked out 11 home runs. His former team is not hitting at all, to the point it's one of the truly worst starts offensively in the history of baseball through 10 games. They have 48 total hits, the Chicago Cubs.
I believe they're hitting somewhere in the 160s at this point.
And you have to go back to when Detroit lost 119 games, I believe, to have a worse start offensively.
Ooh. Here's the thing, though, about the Cubs and their offense. You look at the pieces that you have there.
It doesn't make sense.
You don't think it's going to last. I don't think it's going to last.
Schwarber lifts a fly ball. Left field. Williams with the catch. And there's one away. Download the MLB app to get in-game video, highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Cardinals. Almost look at it like Cincinnati a year ago. So many names in that lineup. Castellanos, Suarez, Votto, some others, Moustakas, and yet they didn't hit last year. They're hitting this year. There's Starlin Castro.
You think about that too. You say last year, but we have to remember that year was 60 games. So in the second half of a regular year, maybe that would have turned around for them, because you're right, there were way too many pieces there for them to struggle that bad offensively.
Pretty much straight up on the infield. Shade him a bit to right center. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Flaherty loves pitching at Busch Stadium. 4th lowest home ERA by a National League starter. As we talked about, number 5 on that list going tomorrow, and that's off the mask of Kisner. Adam Wainwright will go tomorrow. It's a day game against Joe Ross. And then the Cardinals head out on the road again. They'll see the Phillies and then again the Nationals. And St. Louis will be done with Washington after next week. One ball and 2 strikes on Starlin Castro. You may remember that Tyson Ross pitched 9 games for the Cardinals back in 2018. And we'll see his younger brother Joe tomorrow. The 1-2 pitch to Castro. Tapped foul. Josh Harrison on deck.
Well, I like the way that Jack is spotting up his fastball. He's using both sides of the plate. Looking confident, pounding the zone. Steven Strasburg in his first inning of work, and only ended up giving up the solo shot to Goldie, but he was kind of all over the place with some of his stuff.
Open stance of Castro and a 1-2 pitch again by Jack Flaherty. And time called. Cardinals started out this season at 5-2. Dropped 2 of 3 to the division rival Milwaukee Brewers, and game 1 last night to Washington. 5-5 are the Cardinals. The Nationals at 2-5. The 1-2. What do you think the difference will be tonight in terms of game calling with Andrew Kisner as opposed to Yadi, if at all?
Well, it's tough to say, because I think they have the same information available, at their disposal. I'm sure that Yadi has helped Kisner and been with with Jack on a game plan, but you don't have that mental Rolodex, right? So maybe Kisner back there a lot of times might call a few more fastballs here and there. Might be good for Jack.
Kept in front again by Kisner.
But that's the beauty of it for Kisner, who is, he's still figuring out this position at the big league level and doesn't end up getting a ton of reps. But he's not only got the entire coaching staff in there and scouting reports, but he's got the best catcher that's played in this game for the last couple of decades sitting there to help him.
Runner at first is Bell. They're running, and it's hit out of play. That's something I'm not sure you would do, is start Bell if Yadi's behind the plate. And it all comes down to numbers, and they've got all the numbers of delivery to the plate, release times from the catcher, pop-up times, all those things.
Yeah.
It's a big equation.
Well, it's hard to have too much on Kisner at this point, especially in the big leagues. How do you get somebody to stop trying to run on you? Well, you gun them down.
3-2 pitch. Bell running. Lifted in the air. Out to center. Carlson backing up a step or two. He'll make the catch. Bell back to the bag at first, and there's 2 away. Josh Harrison, the second baseman. Remember, in that great run that the Nationals had in that postseason of 19, it was Howie Kendrick who was so good for them. And he is retired. Harrison picked up by Washington. 32-year-old from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's original draft choice of the Cubs, 6th round in 2008. Played at the University of Cincinnati. Last night went 1 for 4.
I think that's how you build a ball club. You want to have young studs, and they've got some of those. Arguably the best one in baseball in Juan Soto, but you got to sprinkle in your veterans that kind of keep everything together.
And ball 1. It's a fine line of the mix of veterans, and it's cliche when you say it, but it's so true. The mix of veterans with young players. You know, if you get off to a slow start, you're a veteran. Well, you have a track record. When you're a young player, you don't.
That's right.
The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A benefit of the doubt is something that a young player doesn't get. So that's, you know, we've spent some time talking about this with the Cardinals outfield mix, and there are going to be some guys that leashes are longer than others, but you might get a couple of games here and there. You might get ran out there for a week plus, but at the end of the day, it comes down to results. Are the results there or are they not?
And the 1-1. Matt Carpenter talked about that last night. He said, look, you can show me all the hard hit stuff and exit velocity, and I believe me, there's, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's nice to see those things that I am taking decent at bats. But the bottom line is, in this game, it's results driven, period. You do or you don't.
Well, what do you think Matt Carpenter would rather have? Do you think he'd rather have a 109-mile-an-hour out or a 52-mile-an-hour hit?
Take the hit.
Take the hit every time. That's what it was last night. Dropped down the bunt, got a knock, got something going, ended up scoring the first run of the ball game for the Cardinals. Sometimes you have to play a little small ball. Sometimes you have to do some things that are unorthodox for you.
The 2-2 pitch to Harrison. Up the middle, and the first hit for the Nationals tonight. Turning into a long inning. They're making him work here in this inning. Well over 20 pitches in the inning, and now over 40 for the game. First hit off the bat of Josh Harrison.
Yeah, that's 24 pitches now in this inning for Jack Flaherty, and this one's just a fastball. Not a terrible pitch. Nice job by Harrison. Just shoot this thing up the middle.
Alex Avila. He's had a nice career. He was the starting catcher for the Tigers when they won 4 straight AL Central division titles. Caught Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer. Familiarity there for Scherzer.
What do you think that conversation is like, Dan, when your dad trades you?
It's a tough one.
Son, come on in. You like Arizona, right? Good.
Oh, man. I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it.
Better than releasing him.
That's true. I'm getting you a job. You're still in the game. Here's a 1-0 pitch.
Been a nice career for Avila.
And Brad referring to his dad, longtime general manager and now working with the Tigers. He's had 2 different stints with Detroit. He's been with Chicago, the Diamondbacks, the Twins, and now the Nationals. Avila's godfather is Tommy Lasorda. So he's been around baseball all his life. And too many of the great Hall of Famers have left us in 2021. In 2020.
Yeah.
Certainly we felt it here with Lou Brock and Bob Gibson, Tommy Lasorda, many others. Here's a 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Flaherty had 2 strikeouts in the first inning. This inning started with an error by Arenado. Bell reached. Schwarber fly to left. Castro to center. Base hit by Harrison. And 1-2 the count on the 8th place hitter Avila. Shift on the right side. And the next by Jack Flaherty. Pulled foul. The big 3 from Harvard Westlake are at it again tonight. High school in Los Angeles. Jack Flaherty going tonight against Washington. Lucas Giolito of the White Sox against Miami, and Max Fried going against Cleveland. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Pretty good spot right there. Hey, imagine that you're a young kid growing up in the greater LA area. You're thinking, oh, all right, where should I go to school? You know what is the right fit for me? They say, well, we got 3 guys starting tonight. Oh, you have 3 different games? No, in the big leagues.
Yeah.
You can watch our guys.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
The 2-2 pitch by Flaherty. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3. Nationals strand a pair. Carpenter coming up. Tomorrow when the Cardinals host the Nationals, take home an adult puffy vest courtesy of Bayer. And add that to your Cardinals fashion. Must have promo. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Tomorrow's game at 12:15. Business person special here at the ballpark. Matt Carpenter dropping down the bunt to get his first hit against the Shift last night.
It was a 3-1 count. Shortstop way back. Matt said, you know what, I like the look. I got to get something going, and get something going he did, because he did end up coming around to score in that inning. A little bit of a weight lifted, right?
Absolutely. He's 4 for 18 with a walk in his career against Steven Strasburg, who enters this start tonight 5th best ERA overall in team history. You know, we were talking about how great he's been in postseason. It does make you think about Bob Gibson and the utter dominance that Bob pitched with in postseason play. He made 9 starts, 81 innings. Bob's postseason ERA was 1.89 as he went 7-2 and struck out better than 10 per 9. Now, Bob did not have to deal with various things in postseason play, like the wild cards or the division series. He had the World Series, and on the biggest stage, he's one of the best ever.
I'd say that's enough to deal with.
Wow.
And the dominance that was there in the World Series. You know, every time he took the ball, the expectation was it was shaking hands at the end of it.
Yep. With him still in the game.
Yeah, that's it. Expectation and reality met pretty much every time Bob Gibson took the mound.
Really going to miss our visits. The 2-1. Hit the other way and foul. Strasburg grew up in the San Diego area, went to high school about 10 miles away from San Diego State, where he pitched collegiately, and his manager also happened to be his favorite player growing up, Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, those two grew very close over his years at San Diego State and kind of taught him how to be a professional.
Said his favorite pitcher was Jake Peavy, but no one could replace the great Tony Gwynn. Strikeout of Carpenter, and that's 2 in a row for Strasburg. Signed a long-term deal with the Nationals, and Mike Rizzo, the general manager, said there were some uneasy times as to whether or not they felt he would sign back. And outside of the money, he said, one of the things I thought about was finishing your career with one team, which is rarely done today. And he said Tony Gwynn did it, and it resonated with me as a kid, and important for him to finish with the Nationals.
I know him and his wife do a lot in the community. They're ingrained now. And money aside, it was still a 7-year, $245 million extension off of a, I think, $135 million extension. So he's doing okay.
He's doing just fine. Dylan Carlson batting 182. 2 balls and no strikes.
You're talking about Bob Gibson there, had me digging again and looking at all of the complete games. And as you know, he had a lot of them, 255 in his career. Would you say Max Scherzer is one of the more dominant starters we've seen over the last decade plus?
No doubt. And a base hit for Carlson. But the only time he's going to finish a game usually is if he's got a no-hitter.
That's about it.
At one point he had a perfect game. He had the massive strikeout game. Just doesn't go very deep.
Yeah.
Well, comparatively speaking.
Right. I guess it's all relative, right? So 255 of them for Bob Gibson, 11 for Max Scherzer. Good job right here by Dylan Carlson, who's been trying to, figure some things out swing wise. Goes down and gets this one. But that's unreal. 255 complete games.
255, 251 wins. More complete games and wins for Bob Gibson. Here's Kisner, who pinch hit last night. Limited playing time, 3 games, and the 250 average. Room on that right side as they hold. And Kisner looks at a strike, 0-2 with 1 down and a runner at first. There's also this date in baseball history. Pete Rose picked up his first ever hit. Started out his career 0 for 12. That was in 1963, this date. And then on the same date, 1984, picked up hit number 4,000. Slowly hit, taken at third, and the out. And Pete finished with 4,256. Justin Williams. Seen some signs with him that we saw at the tail end of spring training.
Seen him hit the ball harder and seen him go the other way with it too, letting the ball travel a little bit early in the season. You were seeing him hit the ball harder, but it was a lot of 4-3. It was a lot of ground balls to second base as they're going to give him the intentional pass here.
Now I imagine that Steven Strasburg gets out of this inning. However, in the second inning with the 8th place hitter, with a guy that has not been going well and a rookie, I'm going to put my money on Steven Strasburg to get him out, then start the next inning with Jack Flaherty.
I don't want to expedite getting Goldie and Arenado up to the plate, personally. But we'll let him bank on his track record here, which has been pretty darn good.
I don't know. Now, again, the odds are with him to get Flaherty out. But if he doesn't, you open up the potential of the big inning early. Now, middle, late, tight game, I could see it. And maybe you force the opposition to make a move with their bullpen and their starter.
Well, games like this, too, with two starters like these two, these are the types of things that change these games drastically. If Jack Flaherty somehow figures out a way to get himself on base, and not going to be easy with that stuff.
Well, you start him out with 2 breaking balls that fall off the table. 0-2.
Now he's ready.
It's a tough league. Strasburg with the strikeout this inning. Had 1 in the first and looking for number 3 here. Outfield is shallow. And the 0-2 pitch. Hit to the right side and a diving catch made by Harrison. Great play by Josh Harrison. To his left. Just got it. Chilly night, right around 60 degrees. Jack Flaherty just finishing up his warm-up tosses. If you joined us late, Paul Goldschmidt with a home run. His first of the season. StatCast powered by Google Cloud.
Goldie not wasting any time. Gets a fastball middle in. Number 250 of his career. 106.3 miles an hour off the bat. And you know that's one that felt good for Paul Goldschmidt. Been scuffling a little bit here the last few games. Started out hot, 4 for 5 in the opener. Got that one going. We showed some video yesterday before the game of him and Nolan Arenado, only ones out on the field, working with Jeff Albert, was giving them flips. They're videotaping each other, working to get better and better. Seeing some of those results early in this game.
Steven Strasburg, Victor Robles, Trey Turner for the Nationals here in the top of the third. It was a 30-pitch inning in the second for Jack Flaherty.
Well, he needs a quick one here. You mentioned the 30-pitch inning. We know the bullpen's been taxed, even though Cody Whitley's here. Need a quick inning.
And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Strasburg can swing it a little bit too. He did double in his last game against Atlanta, 1 for 1 in that ball game.
One ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. So in the bullpen, the Cardinals have Hicks, Reyes, Whitley, Helsley, Gallegos from the right side, Miller, Webb, Cabrera from the left. Runs the count full. And Daniel Ponce de Leon as well.
As Schultz said today that Ponce could be available as soon as today if needed.
3-2 pitch. Lined into right. Tommy Edman is there. Well, you said he could swing it a little bit. Hits a rope out there to right field.
Had him well placed though.
So first time through the lineup. Nationals pick up 1 hit. That was Harrison. Bell reached on an error and 3 strikeouts. Robles struck out on a slider his first time up. One out and nobody on. Strike one. Busch Stadium 3. This ballpark opened up in 2006. Cardinals have a .725 winning percentage against the Nationals. 31-13 against Washington. Second best against any opponent. Trails only the Rockies. They've won 11 of the 13 times they've been here in terms of series. Off the end of the bat, and it's 1-2. The Montreal, then Washington franchise.
When you think of the Montreal Expos, Dan, is there a player that pops out for you?
Tim Raines. Andre Dawson.
Yeah.
How about you?
I get some Pedro.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit. And some Randy.
A little bit. And at the elbow pad, I also think Vladimir Guerrero, too.
Yeah. His elbow pad sounded like a bat.
Sure did. That's how I was waiting to see.
I mean, that sounded like knob to me.
Yep.
Definitely not knob.
Nope.
Apparently they're making those out of maple now.
It definitely sounded like it, didn't it?
Might have been ash. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not exactly the guy you want to put on first base, though.
He can run. And so can this guy. It'd have to be a hard hit ball to turn two. Trey Turner struck out looking first time up. One out and a runner at first. I still think they're going to get a team back in Montreal.
I think they should. There's a few places that are trending in that direction. This league will expand. I mean, it's going to happen.
Might happen sooner than you think.
Got to recoup some revenue.
Yep.
Well, there might be. Who knows? In who knows how many years it's going to take to happen, but there might be a new division rival at some point. Hearing a lot of chatter about Nashville being a landing spot. You think about that as a road trip going to see your team. Not a bad one.
Warren Cromartie has been very vocal about trying to get a game up in Montreal, then had it for some of the exhibitions. Cardinals played in one a few years ago. And trying to get a franchise back north of the border. Join the Blue Jays. The 1-1 pitch. Used to love going to Montreal.
I've never been.
Oh, it was great. Stadium wasn't great, but the city was.
Yeah.
During the summer months.
I enjoyed playing in Toronto. I got to play there in 05. I loved it.
Yeah. Fans are vocal. Enjoy the game. 1-1 pitch. I got to think that Portland, maybe internationally, maybe Las Vegas, your hometown.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Charlotte as well.
Yep. One ball and two strikes. Next pitch to the shortstop, Trey Turner. Boy, he's going deep into a lot of counts here tonight. So that pitch count is up there. It's 61 already.
The Nationals have been making him work. They're not fishing at the stuff just off the plate.
Broke his bat, hit left side, gloved by Arenado, and they get the lead man.
Good sinker in on the hands by Jack Flaherty.
Well, Josh Bell is on deck. He is 4 for 18, reached on an error. I bring that up because with 2 outs, 1 swing of the bat, Soto can give you a lead. So would you start Trey Turner? Would you run in this situation? You open up first base if he reaches at second. Leaning towards the bag at second, not running. And the pitch taken for a ball.
Tell you what, it really provides a lot of options when you have some depth in your lineup, though. You know, you could move. You picked up Bell because you trust him to protect Soto, right? So you open that up, but this is arguably the best hitter in baseball. Tell you what, you don't see that very often. You could see he was cheating a little bit to something to the inner half. Juan Soto falls back on this. This is a pitch in the strike zone. He's cheating on a little slider in, fastball in.
1 ball and 1 strike. Ooh, Flaherty really wanted that pitch. It changes the dynamic. When you go 1-2 to 2-1. Wow.
Yeah, well, you want it because it's a strike.
And you got Soto at the plate.
Yeah.
And the 2-1 to Soto. Out to right, backing up and over the head of Tommy Edman. And we're tied 1-1 on a rocket off the bat of Juan Soto. And that scores Trey Turner. 1-1 our score. This guy is some kind of player, isn't he?
Yeah. Here's that man again. Just a breaking ball that he goes down and hammers. Slider coming down and into him. But just the balance there. That was the swing that he took on the pitch away. He was looking for something in that he could pull.
And now Bell reached on an error by Arenado. Shift on the right side. Out of play. Bell's not been able to catch up on that fastball here from Flaherty. But again, from 1-2 to 2-1 changes the dynamic of the entire at bat.
Well, you get that call away, so you have him swing through a fastball away, then get the call away. It gives you a few options on that pitch. You're burying the slider, like you're not going to mess with, or you're going to go away again. You don't have to throw it for a strike.
0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last night, National back to full strength. Snapped their 5-game skid. Josh Bell reached base 3 times, scored 2 runs. Kyle Schwarber, 2 hits and an RBI. Bell, Schwarber, and Harrison all making their debut, and that changes their lineup.
So glad they're back.
Yeah. Here's a 1-2 by Jack Flaherty. Struck him out. 2-out double by Juan Soto to bring in Trey Turner. And we're tied 1-1. Juan Soto with a 2-out double to score Trey Turner. We're tied 1 apiece. Now time for our Kia player profile, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Lowest ERA, Expos Nationals franchise history. Max Scherzer, Pedro Martinez, El Presidente, Dennis Martinez, Steve Rogers, and Steven Strasburg. Tommy Edman with a base hit. Everything he's hit has been hard.
Kind of got his sight set up the middle a little bit. Nice compact swing.
There's Goldschmidt. Solo home run back in the first. Popped up. Foul territory. Castro, 1 away. Ooh, that's one he would love back, wouldn't he? Looked like Steven may have gotten away with it.
It was the first pitch that Goldie hit out of the ballpark in his first at bat. He went for it again on the second pitch, just missed the breaking ball.
There's Nolan Arenado, fly to left. Strasburg used to be pretty slow and deliberate to the plate. Teams would run on him. He has shortened that up considerably. Now he's working out of the stretch here, but this is basically what he does now with every pitch, whether there's a base runner on or not. Trying to be more compact towards the plate. Big guy, 6'4", 250 pounds.
He had to work really hard too to get himself into this kind of shape. He admitted, himself coming out of high school, going into San Diego State, his routine after practice would be he'd just go to the local burrito shop and hammer a couple of burritos and wash it down with the soda and just go out there and throw. He's turned himself into a good athlete.
Remember the fanfare that was around him?
Yeah.
Wow.
His minor league games were on TV.
Yeah. A ball and a strike on the Cardinal third baseman, Nolan Arenado.
I think about some of the, most memorable draft picks, and the Nationals had 2 of them for me. Him and Bryce Harper were the 2 guys that everybody, it didn't matter where they were playing, A-ball, AA, AAA, everybody wanted to see him.
Here's a 1-1. You being from Vegas, what was that like, the hype around Harper?
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge. I mean, the kid was a rock star, and he was literally a kid. Again, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at the age of 15. Mentioned, he went to Vegas high school. I mean, that place had scouts galore all over it. Head coach over there, Sam Thomas, who did such a fine job for a long time, turned out a lot of athletes. But that was, the biggest fanfare the school ever got. The 2-1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. 3-1. Paul DeYoung on deck. Strasburg has 1 walk tonight. That was the intentional pass of Williams to get to Flaherty in the second. And he has 2 strikeouts. Struck out DeYoung and Carpenter. Good speed at first base in Tommy Edman. And the 3-1 pitch. Arenado hits it down the left field line. It is gone. Nolan Arenado, 2-run homer. And the Cardinals are back on top. The boys are back right here in the middle of the order. It's a 3-1 changeup, and it does not fool Nolan at all. Stays back, sees it up a little bit, and deposits this.
3-1 St. Louis. And here is DeYoung.
You just have back-to-back big-time threats. You know, I mean, it's so nice to see that.
One ball and one strike. Arenado, his third home run. He's now driven in 7 on the year. And the average back to 300. Here's a 1-1. That's off the plate. That has not been called a strike tonight. When things are going the way they have been for DeYoung, they go against you.
It feels that way, right? And it ends up being true sometimes. You wait for something else bad to happen. Ball just got to protect. Shorten up.
2-2. So 1 out, nobody on, and the next 2, DeYoung. Did not go. Full count. First time in the last 15 innings Cardinals have scored multiple runs in an inning.
Well, that's what this lineup should do. This lineup should be crooked numbers. It's just been a few guys been slower to get going this season.
And the 3-2. He walked him. Carpenter struck out, looking first time up. A shift on the right side. DeYoung, the runner at first base. And ball 1. It's DeYoung's 7th walk this year. Leads the Cardinals 4th best in the National League. He's standing at first base. 1 out, 1 ball and no strikes. Two and 0. Pitch count nearing 50 now for Strasburg. 4 away.
That's the one right there you'd like to be able to see Matt Carpenter pull the trigger on. He's in a hitter's count.
2-0. Let it
fly.
Yeah. 2 balls and 1 strike on Carpenter. Inside, 3-1. And again, if he gets a pitch to drive, let it rip. Love to see that. See what he could do. Runner at first, Paul DeYoung. 3 balls, 1 strike on Carpenter. Like that. Just like that. Stay fair. Down the right field line. Gone! Off the foul pole. A mammoth blast off the bat of Carpenter. Let it rip on 3-1. Fans want to give him a curtain call. Good for you, Matt Carpenter.
How can you not be smiling right now? Look at the reaction of his teammates, how happy they are for him for that moment. Gets a 3-1 pitch. As you said, lays into it. He might as well have been floating around those bases, too. I don't know if that was a trot. He was feeling it. I know that felt good.
Big cut by Dylan Carlson.
Dylan said, I want some of that, too.
Oh, if there was ever a ball to stay fair, it was that one.
The one.
Good for Matt Carpenter. (5-1) St. Louis. 3 home runs allowed by Steven Strasburg. He had allowed 3 home runs in his career to the Cardinals.
It's a good changeup. That's a pitch that Dylan Carlson has some troubles with. Yeah, just seeing the reaction of Carp's teammates tells you everything that you need to know about Matt Carpenter.
And the 2-2 is pulled foul. I've noticed a lot in this inning, and I'll be curious to what Strasburg has to say afterwards. But if you noticed him, he keeps looking back at the mound. He's kind of fallen off towards the first base side. It just didn't seem like he's very comfortable.
He looked a little off starting in the first inning. I mean, the stuff is always good, but he wasn't locating any of his pitches. Just kind of been feeling for it.
It's almost as if he's not finishing.
Yeah, well, he looked really good last time out, the first time. Didn't seem to be any negative results from, his carpal tunnel surgery, but who knows? I mean, sometimes you just lose feel for things.
It has been a great career, many years for Matt Carpenter. Everybody knows it's been a struggle. Spring training, beginning of this year. His teammates know it. Everybody in the ballpark knows it. And that is a great moment. Now Kisner. I don't know. To me, Strasburg is just laboring. There's something not quite clicking. Not to take anything away from what the Cardinals are doing, but seeing him look back at the mound a few times.
Well, it's just nice to see the Cardinals take advantage of some mistakes. I mean, very rarely do you have that from Steven Strasburg, where he is laboring, where he does end up missing a few times. I think that's a great example of what you're talking about right there. It just kind of falls off the side of the mound, does not look comfortable.
Oh, 0-2 the count.
Pitch count only at 58 for him as well.
Right. Been watching his velocity too. I think that's been down in this start to where we normally see it. Pulled foul. Or just could be one of those nights where, it happens every 5th day, where sometimes you're on and sometimes you're off.
That's a fact. Well, nobody's stirring in the bullpen at all for the Nationals, so Davey Martinez not seeing anything too alarming.
1-2 the count. Pair of 2-run homers hit in this inning. One by Nolan Arenado, the other by Carpenter. Goldie also there talking with Arenado. There's been 3 hit tonight. 6th time in Strasburg's career that he's allowed 3 or more home runs.
Always a good thing when it happens. It means your team is swinging it, but it's been a long layoff for Jack Flaherty, who's already at 70 pitches. He's going to have to get efficient quickly.
Good point. That missed just a bit low. And a full count on Andrew Kisner. Inning started with a base hit by Edman to center. Goldschmidt popped out. 2-run homer by Arenado to left. DeYoung walked. 2-run homer off the foul pole in right field by Carpenter. And another walk. 2 walks in the inning. Well, Strasburg threw 31 pitches in the first 2 innings and now 32 and counting here in inning number 3. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Want to deposit your birthday check right from your phone? Don't waste your wish. You can send money, check your balance, and yes, take care of those checks in a snap. All with the Great Southern mobile app.
Last time the Cardinals had 3 different players homer in a game last season, you may remember it was the game against Cincinnati. Goldschmidt, Carpenter, Bader, and Brad Miller. That was the game that Miller, I think, hit what, 7 runs batted in that game?
Yeah, it was
off the foul pole.
The one that almost knocked down the foul pole in Cincinnati. He was a spark plug for the Cardinals last year.
He was. So a visit by Jim Hickey, and now Strasburg dealing with Justin Williams. Jack Flaherty on deck. Williams intentionally walked back in the 2nd inning. Shift on the right side.
I just don't remember seeing Steven Strasburg fall off the side of the mound like he's doing today.
Sometimes, as you well know, Brad, pitchers will do that if they're trying to protect something. If mechanically it's not right or they're hurt, you fall off.
Yeah, it means you're opening up a little bit too quick. And the reason, why are you doing it?
I mean, that's a fastball at 90.
Yeah, we're used to seeing him 94, 95.
Yep.
Run it up there 97.
Kisner, the runner at first, and Williams sends one out to deep left. Schwarber back, falling down, and made the catch. Big inning for the Cardinals. 2-run homer, Nolan Arenado. Stay fair, please. Yes. The home run hitters in the 3rd for the Cardinals, Nolan Arenado and Matt Carpenter, both with 2-run homers. I mentioned this to you, Brad. I just don't know if he is right. And there's Strasburg
digging in there in the shoulder, kind of neck region. And we mentioned the falling off to the first base side. A lot of times, if anybody's had that stiff neck and that area up in the shoulder, you have to protect that a little bit. He's definitely working through something. A little surprised, honestly, with what we saw the last inning and seeing him there, that they don't have somebody moving around. But I'm guessing that he told Jim Hickey, Davey Martinez, he's good to go.
Yep. The batter will be Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber, Castro, Harrison, and to your point, a long time to sit for Jack Flaherty. So let's see how he bounces back.
Yeah, and I'd love to see him bouncing back, pumping strikes. 70 pitches right now. It's only the 4th inning.
And ball 1. Schwarber fly to left. 0 for 1 tonight. This is where you want to have that shutdown inning, quick, efficient, and kind of keep the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking bottom of the zone is what I'm thinking. I'm trying to utilize my defense here.
And the 1-0 pitch. A ball and a strike. Inside, and it's 2-1. So the last time that Goldschmidt and Arenado had homered in the same game was when they were competing against each other, September 1st, 2015. Arizona and Colorado, and now here they are, teammates in St. Louis.
I like this version of it.
Boy, if you would have said to somebody a few years ago, by the way, you're going to have Goldschmidt and Arenado, they would have thought you're out of your mind.
Yeah, who would move those 2 pieces? Pull a string right there. Good pitch.
Three and 2 the count on Kyle Schwarber. Center field. Dylan Carlson, 1 away. Schwarber 0 for 2. He's now 2 for 20 against Flaherty in his career. And the batter will be Starlin Castro. Flaherty gets 5 runs of support. He is 12-0 in his career. Love to make it lucky number 13 tonight. 0-1 pitch to Starlin Castro. A beauty in there for strike 2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5.
About as efficient as you're going to get when you're punching somebody out. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Starting with that little fastball away, went with the breaking ball, and then went upstairs.
Here's Harrison, single to center field. I think maybe the best part of the Carpenter home run with the teammates, the reaction.
Nolan Arenado on the top step. These guys are tight, and the thing is, when an individual's going through a struggle, yeah, a lot of it, I mean, it's on him. It's on that person. But the team feels it.
No doubt. Little chopper left side foul. 0-2. They also see a guy that's been a 3-time All-Star and proud and working. Things not going his way. And they're pulling for him. 0-2, just got a piece. You can go look at the stats in Cardinals history. Matt Carpenter is going to be in the top 20, 15, or 10 of most offensive categories in Cardinals history.
It's been a fantastic Cardinal career.
Now, granted, I mean, he's had his struggles here, and he fully admits it. But it has been a fabulous career that he's had. Hung that one in a base hit into left center. It'll be Williams who'll take it, and the throw into second base is in time. Right on the bag. They're going to look at it, and looks like he's in there. Boy, is that close.
That's really close.
I don't know.
With the call going that way, and remember, it has to be conclusive to be able to overturn it. I don't know. Good strong throw right there by Justin Williams. Yes.
I thought it might be advantageous to have Carlson come over, glove it, and then do one of those spins and throws, get a little bit more on it. You got to remember, Williams going to his left, not coming in, and still got a lot on the throw. This is just a heck of a throw.
It was a good throw. It's a good pick and a good tag by Matt Carpenter. And I think that's too close.
Might be, because you're blocked on that view. This will be probably their best view. So whether or not the fingertips are there, it's going to be awfully close.
Maybe he's got some dangling leather right there that ends up hitting him. Here's what I've learned about replay in the last couple of days, though. Whatever you think you saw, you might not have seen. If we've learned anything from watching Sunday Night Baseball.
The crew chief there is Brian Gorman, and that is his call.
Harrison saying, no, you didn't. Carp saying, yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did.
Impressive throw by Williams, who basically has been in right field for his entire career, or even at times center, but not a lot of left.
Kind of acted as an infielder on that throw, really, the way that he got it. The call's going to stand.
The outfield assist, Justin Williams. 5-1. Make sure to download the McDonald's app to grab a $1 any size frozen beverage every game day. McDonald's. Nelly in the house tonight. Just put him up on the video board. One of the great interviews ever was Joe Kelly interviewing Nelly on a pregame show. Jim Hayes, the moderator.
But it wasn't like just Joe Kelly. It was kind of Joe Kelly as an older gentleman. Correct?
Yes. A strike to Flaherty. Flaherty, Edman, and Goldschmidt. Tell you what, Jim has had some dandies over the years.
That's probably up there.
I'd say so. Nothing compares, though, to his visit with fans, and a particular visit over on the rooftop.
I do recall the opening of the rooftop. Got a tour of the whole thing. Found out about all the faculties.
Off the end of the bat, into right, and a base hit. Flaherty 1 for 2. It really was classic. Go to bat. Jack Flaherty getting into the fun tonight.
Well, Jack in his first at bat smoked a ball, and Harrison had to make a really nice play on it with a couple of guys on. It was a breaking ball as well. This one hangs up a little bit for him to poke out to right.
There's Tommy Edman with a base hit to center, 1 for 2, and a run scored. Jim, you want to chime in?
I kind of wanted to bring it back to the Deli interview and get away from classic go to bat. I just want some credit, Dan, because I had booked Nelly to come on the pregame show, and then Joe Kelly said, hey, I want to come on the pregame show. I got this old guy's mask. And I was like, let's put them together.
Well, it worked.
That's regional cable journalism, Dan.
It worked, Jimmy.
Joe Kelly was something else.
He was. Remember Scott Van Slyke and Joe Kelly standing before the national anthem before one of the postseason games between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. A standoff.
I believe the umpires had to make him stop.
Yep.
Had a baseball game that we needed to get to. Apparently, I'd have watched the standoff all day.
Jim, in that interview across the street, said, I'm going to tempt fate one more time, and went right back in to get to the bottom of things. And there's St. Louis native, recording artist Nelly. Two one. Edman. Base hit past Harrison. Flaherty will stop at second. Back-to-back hits. No one getting loose yet in the Nationals pen. And now you've got Goldschmidt and Arenado coming up. Tommy Edman 2 for 3.
This leadoff spot is fitting him just fine, isn't it?
Hitting the ball hard. Both sides of the plate, too. We're starting now to stir in the Nationals bullpen. Cardinals with 7 hits.
Probably getting ready to catch this ball.
And a strike to Goldschmidt. I will admit my partner before the Arenado home run looked at me and pointed to the bullpen. Just didn't go there. Went to the left.
Count. Yeah.
Got to come out and say it.
I got to verbalize. Yeah. Using my words has been a problem for me.
No, it hasn't.
Well, at times.
Here's the 0-1. Goldschmidt. High. Fly ball. Deep left. Schwarber is at the wall and just enough room as runners tag up. Flaherty sliding into third. Just missed it.
I so badly wanted that to be in the bullpen. So badly. He did just miss it too. Just got under it. Same thing with, honestly, the at bat beforehand. He popped up a breaking ball, popped it up to third base, but just missed it. Got the runners over though.
Intentional pass here of Arenado to load him up with 1 out and deal with Paul DeJong. That'll be the 4th walk, 2 of them intentional, handed out by Strasburg. Inning started with a base hit by Flaherty to right. Edman past the diving Josh Harrison. Fly out by Goldschmidt. Intentional pass of Arenado with first base open. And let's see if DeJong can make him pay.
Yeah, this is Matt Carpenter got the weight lifted in this ball game. Hit the big home run off the foul pole. It's Paul's turn to get the weight lifted.
First pitch is strike 2 DeJong. Called out on strikes back in the first and walked and scored in the third on the 2-run homer hit by Carpenter. DeJong hits it up the middle, could be 2. Turner steps on the bag and the pick by Bell. And a double play. Into the 5th. 5-1 St. Louis. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. And by Jack in the Box. The triple bonus Jack combo is back at Jack in the Box. Try it today for just $5.99. The aforementioned Jim Hayes. 5-1 our score. Jimmy, what do you have?
Dan, an important date in Cardinals history. This date, 1954, Tom Alston becomes the first African-American player to appear in a Cardinals uniform. Alston, who was born in North Carolina, was picked up by the Cardinals in a trade from the PCL's San Diego Padres for players and $100,000, which was a ton of money at the time. Alston was 6'5". He played in just 91 games for the Cards over 4 years, hit .244 with 4 homers. He was hindered by physical and mental issues. Alston passed away in 1993 at age 67, but Danny Tom Alston blazed the trail for some of the greatest players to ever put on a Cardinals uniform.
It was 7 seasons, thank you, Jim, after Jackie Robinson had broke the color barrier in baseball. And the Cardinals were the 10th team of 16 at that time to integrate. And soon enough, Jackie Robinson Day, 2 days away from that in the major leagues. The swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike on Avila.
Well, the 4th inning for Jack Flaherty is just what the doctor ordered. 13 pitches after laboring the last couple. Like to get right back in there again.
The 1-1. Pitch count at 86 for Flaherty, so it won't be a deep start one way or another. We'll see if he gets another inning, depending on how this goes.
Yeah, this one will have to go pretty quickly, you'd think.
He had a 30-pitch inning back in the 2nd. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Avila struck out. And Steven Strasburg is at the on-deck circle. You go back to the top of the lineup, and Victor Robles. Ground ball into the shift. That's DeYoung, the shortstop, with it. 1 away. Add a Jack Buck statue to your collection. 10,000 fans entering with a ticket for the Cardinals and Phillies games April 26th through the 28th. Will take home their very own replica Jack Buck statue with voice chip, thanks to Ameren, Illinois. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Lone visit to see Bryce Harper here in town. Strasburg lined out to right first time up. Hits it sharply towards second. Backhanded by Carpenter with time. 2 away.
Got a couple of pitchers swinging it today.
Yep. And Robles will give Strasburg a little time. Walking into the dugout. Struck out on a slider first time up. Hit by a pitch in the 3rd.
And we did find out in that at bat that these elbow guards are now made out of maple or ash. Maybe pine.
Sure sounded like it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, initially I thought it hit the knob of the bat.
For sure.
And there's strike 1.
That pitch on the outer half has been a little inconsistent.
Flaherty going right back to it. Doesn't get the call. 2-1.
Talk
you can
about,
see there, he's frustrated.
It should be, man. You talk about being consistent and being efficient. You're peppering strikes down and away.
The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. A 2-2 pitch by Flaherty. Doesn't get it again. And that time he does.
Good for you. Go back in.
Strikeout number 6 for Flaherty. Coming up, Carpenter, Carlson, and Kisner. Matt with a 2-run blast tonight. It's 5-1. Carpenter coming up, and our BJC Healthcare difference maker, Matt Carpenter, jumping on this 3-1 pitch up the foul pole in right. And a curtain call. Said this a lot, what a difference he could make in this lineup to get back to some semblance of where he was.
Just become a threat. That's the thing. Matt Carpenter has throughout his career just been a threat. He's a guy that can work counts. You see Strasburg falling off again. If you weren't watching earlier, we saw him in the tunnel after an inning working on his neck, trying to dig in on his shoulder a little bit. He does not look comfortable.
2-0 the count. Shift on the right side of the infield. And Carpenter lines it in and out of the glove of Starlin Castro. A bullet to Castro. I got to wonder if that was knuckling.
It had to be. Starlin Castro is not generally going to miss that. This thing is hit right on the nose.
.105 off the bat at Carpenter.
Just that top spin ends up eating up Castro.
So an error on Starlin Castro, the first error committed by the Nationals this year. Dylan Carlson, a base hit to center, and also struck out swinging. The lefty Luis Avilan is ready to go in the Nats bullpen when called upon. I mean, Strasburg is hovering right around that 90-mile-per-hour mark, and that's not him. Usually much harder than that.
Yeah, for sure. He's been battling in this. It's obvious that he is not feeling 100%. He's trying to give everything he's got here, but he's made way more mistakes. And then even his pitches that have been better ones, they don't have the velocity to get past you.
3 balls and a strike. Well, Carpenter was at 3-1 and let one fly. Let's see what Dylan Carlson wants to do. Draws a walk. 5 walks issued by Strasburg, 2 of those intentional. This might be his last batter one way or another with Justin Williams on deck and a lefty up in the pen. Runners at first and second for Kisner. He's grounded out to third and also walked. Cardinals with 7 hits. They have left 5 on, and they lead this ball game 5-1.
That's a healthy cut right there. Just a hanging breaking ball from Strasburg.
Big gap in left center. Robles, center fielder, shallow. Shallow in right with Soto. It's about as shallow we've seen a right fielder play in right field. And a base hit out to left. Drops. Bases loaded. It's really a tough read right there for Matt Carpenter, running from second to third to make sure that this wasn't caught.
It looks like it might hang up for a second for Schwarber and left, and hits the brakes there for a second. I mean, even if he's busting it, he's not scoring on that play.
Five walks ties Strasburg's career high all the way back in 2010, pitching at Cleveland in just his second career start. The bases are loaded, and Justin Williams is coming up. 2021 Cardinals Hall of Fame ballot presented by Edward Jones, live now through April 17th. And you can vote for a deserving candidate. Cardinals.com/HOF. Only a few days remain there. Luis Avilan, our Chevy called to the pen for the Washington Nationals, comes into a sticky situation. Bases loaded and no one out. Joined the Nationals on a minor league deal. Invite to camp and made the club. Justin Williams takes a ball. Inning started with Carpenter reaching on an error. Walk to Carlson. Kisner the base hit to left. Avilan has been a part of 9 major league seasons. Williams, base hit into right. 1 run is in. That's Carpenter, and it's 6-1 Cardinals.
Justin Williams is seeing the ball well, lined out the other way, and then gets this breaking ball off the lefty and shoots it right through the right side.
Austin Dean will pinch hit for Flaherty. So Jack will give the Cardinals 5 and turn it over to the bullpen. Base is still loaded and nobody out. 6-1 our score. Cardinals have a grand slam this year. Dylan Carlson against Miami. Dean 4 for 14, does have a home run, 3-run shot hit over the weekend. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Flaherty on the left. Waino going tomorrow. The 0-2. Avilan is one of 3 lefties for the Nationals in their pen. Sam Clay, Brad Hand, the others. And you'd have to figure that Hand is unavailable tonight.
Yeah, I would think so. The Cardinals made him work last night through 26 pitches, and he had pitched the day before. Just came back off of the IL, so they'll likely be without their closer, and hopefully that won't even be an option they'd want to go to today, as the Cardinals keep trying to tack on. You know what we're seeing today? We're seeing a lot of big aggressive swings out of the Cardinals. And I guess, I mean, it's easy to say in a ball game where we've seen 3 home runs already, but I think I'm seeing more intent today, more intent to do damage.
Strasburg gave up the 3 home runs. Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Carpenter. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, and the bases loaded. 2-2. Cardinals really going for it in this spot. Pinch hitting for Flaherty. Turning it over to the bullpen. Probably could have squeezed one more inning out of Jack.
Yeah, he was efficient there the last couple of innings. Jack had 96 pitches right now, so you knew you weren't going to want to push him much past that. But you know what we saw in that last at bat from him was 94, 95, and 96. Like, he looked like he was getting stronger.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and the next to Dean. Missed in, 3-2. Nowhere to put him. 3-2 the count on Austin Dean with the bases loaded. Here it comes. Dean out to center. Robles will back up a step or two, makes the catch. Runner tags from third and scores. That's Dylan Carlson. Nice at bat by Austin Dean.
It was. Just being productive again. And we're seeing it now in this ball game. We're seeing production from the top of the order. Goldie's got a homer. Arenado's got one. Tommy's had 2 hits in this ball game, but the bottom of the order getting it done as well.
Runners at first and second. Tommy Edman already with 2 hits tonight from the left side of the plate against Strasburg. Williams, your runner at first. Kisner at second. Ball 1 to Tommy Edman. Fly to left. Base hit in the third to center. Came around to score. 2-run homer hit by Nolan Arenado. And a base hit to right. That was in the fourth. 7-1 Cardinals. And the 1-0 pitch to Tommy Edman. 2 balls, no strikes. Beautiful night in St. Louis. Chilly. The 2-0. 3-0. You know he's going to get a pitch to hit, and the way he's swinging the bat. You got a 7-1 lead. Turn him loose.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep piling on. They trust Tommy Edman. You're seeing the ball. Go for it.
He doesn't want Goldschmidt up with the bases loaded.
I do.
3-0 pitch. And he walked him. He walked him, and they're all loaded up for Paul Goldschmidt. Cardinals have received 6 walks in the game. Bases loaded for Goldie, who's already homered and sent another one to the wall. The first pitch to him. Goldschmidt rips it for a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Williams. Throw to the plate is not in time. Sliding and safe, it's Williams. And Goldie drives in 2.
Goldie has had 3 at-bats today where he has swung at the first pitch. The first time it was a home run. This time it's a hanging breaking ball and drives in 2.
Just in there, and a strong throw by Schwarber.
Schwarber's got a really good arm. Justin Williams was running hard, made a nice turn at third.
Here's Arenado, 2-run homer back in the third, 9-1 St. Louis. Hard hit balls. It's 95 miles an hour or better. 25 of them this season for Paul Goldschmidt. That was 106 off the bat. A 1 pitch to Arenado. We can see that Avalon is struggling with the breaking ball, so look fastball, maybe do some damage. We'll see. Outfield is straight away. They are deep. And the 1-1. This is all Avilon, as there's no activity currently in the Nats bullpen.
For Nolan Arenado in this spot too, to your point, Avilon's out there fighting himself. So you just look for something up that you can hammer.
The 2-1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. Arenado with a base hit out to left. 10-1 Cardinals. Love how Nolan goes down and gets the baseball.
Yeah, he's got the ability to climb the ladder, or he could just go down here on a breaking ball down and in. Keeps the head down. I love that. The head down, right on contact. Sees the ball hit the bat. The beautiful high finish, and the Cardinals pouring it on here in the 5th inning.
Book officially closed on Strasburg. 4+, 8 runs on 8 hits, struck out 3, walked 5, and gave up 3 home runs. Didn't see that coming. Now DeYoung. Runners at first and second. DeYoung base hit into right. And it gets away from Soto. And with that, Goldschmidt will score. Second error committed by the Nationals in this game. And both coming in this inning.
I like seeing that. I like seeing Paul DeYoung go the other way with something. The slow breaking ball that way. Soto's coming up trying to make a play before he's got the ball.
Inning started with Matt Carpenter. He lined one into the shift. It was a bullet, 105 miles per hour, and it was in and out of the glove of the third baseman Starlin Castro. Runners at first and third. 11-1. So the Cardinals bat around here in inning number 5. The 1-0. 21 pitches for this left-hander. Davey Martinez is saying you're going to have to wear it. The 2-0. Carpenter with a fly ball into left. Catch is made by Robles. Arenado will score. Carp drives in another, and it's 12-1. So Carpenter is driven in 3. He scored 2 runs and hit a home run.
It was a nice night for him. It's a great night for the Cardinals offense. Overall, everybody getting in on the action.
Dylan Carlson walked and scored in this inning. Runner at first is Paul DeYoung. And the switch hitting, Dylan Carlson walked back in this 5th inning, struck out in the 3rd, and a base hit to center in the 2nd. The most runs scored in an inning by the Cardinals this year. Remember, they came out of the gates with 6 in the 1st inning in the opener in Cincinnati.
I just like what we're seeing in this ball game of the top to bottom. You know, a little bit of everybody, especially in this inning. Carlson has already drawn a walk. Kisner with a hit. Williams with a hit. The lineup top to bottom can be long.
And Carlson hits it left side. Long throw here, and he beats it out. Infield hit, Dylan Carlson.
He knows right away big league hits aren't that easy to come by. He sees this one, third baseman playing back deep. He's running hard, not taking anything for granted in a ball game where the Cardinals have poured on 11-run lead, 7 runs in the inning. Keep trying to pour it on.
Everyone in this lineup with a base hit. That includes Jack Flaherty, who made the start tonight. Now it's Kisner, single to left and scored this inning. He has walked and grounded out. 2 outs and 2 on. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals a 13-hit attack tonight and counting. The 1-1 pitch to the Cardinals catcher tonight. Check swing. Held up, 2-1. Long inning here for Avilan. Approaching 30 pitches. He's had 28.
Yeah, they're not even moving out in that pen, as you mentioned earlier. This is one of those where you need innings. You need some help.
The 2-1. Matt Carpenter, by the way, is tied George Hendrick, Silent George, and Jimmy Ballgame, Jimmy Edmonds, 9th place all time in Cardinals history, 46 sac flies. Silent George.
Jimmy Ballgame at the park tonight. being honored in the first opening week. The Red Jackets have been out.
3-1 to Kisner. And another walk. That's 7 tonight. Second time that Kisner has walked. And here's Justin Williams. Williams was the first batter that Avilan saw this inning. All loaded up for Justin Williams.
These innings, Dan, are not fun for a pitcher. They're not fun for a manager either, though. You know, Davey Martinez feels terrible hanging his guy out to dry like this, but you need it. You need some help.
Shift on the right side. Strike to Williams, who singled to right, picked up a run batted in and scored this inning alone. It's been intentionally passed and hit one to the track and left, with Schwarber falling down to make a catch. The 0-1. Fights it off. Little floater. Base hit. Into center. One run is in. Here comes another. Williams has driven in 3 in this inning alone. And what you love to see, he's doing it against a lefty.
Just fights this one off. It's in on his hands, and he's able to just power it out into center field. Have an inning, young man. Just fights it off into center.
They probably told Austin Dean, go get your spikes back on. He was a pinch hitter in this inning for Jack Flaherty. Picked up a sac fly and an RBI to center. And the Cardinals have something going again. Runners at first and second, 14-1 our score. The 15th man to come to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th for the Cardinals. 9-run frame for St. Louis. First and second, first pitch to Dean. Wander Suero, right-hander, throwing in the bullpen for Washington.
Genesis Cabrera has also been ready for the last half hour.
Yeah. A 1 pitch to Dean. A ball and a strike. Well, it doesn't happen very often. You're a pinch hitter and you come up twice in the inning.
You know, such a special event that doesn't happen often. You might as well make it memorable.
And the 1-1. Two-one pitch to Austin Dean. 3-1. Tommy Edman on deck. And the 3-1 to Dean. Cardinals have 4 players that have 3 runs batted in this game. That hasn't happened for St. Louis since 1954. 3-2 and a strikeout of Dean. What an inning. (14-1). Jack Flaherty tonight, 5 innings, 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 6, and he's got a chance at a win.
I thought the fastball command for Jack Flaherty was really good. Pitch count got elevated. He'd love to be able to get a lot deeper into this ball game. 96 pitches in it, but Jack went out there, got the job done. The offense backed him up big time. Decent night for Jack Flaherty, and now on to Genesis Cabrera.
Cabrera have 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup. Turner, Soto, and Bell. And the Cardinals leading 14-1. 9 runs scored in the bottom of 5. Chevy called to the pen. Genesis Cabrera. Trey Turner has struck out looking, reached on a fielder's choice, and scored the only run for the Nationals. Cabrera almost fell over. Plays at the mound. Dirt, his landing area. Never an easy thing, is it, for a reliever coming in when you've got, 2 righties, then a lefty. All these guys have different strides towards the plate, and you did that for a living coming in out of the bullpen. You were starter too, but the landing area, it gets beat up.
Yeah, it can. I'll tell you though, there's an enormous difference between a minor league mound and a big league mound, because this mound right here, you could go out there after the game and there's not going to be much of a hole anywhere. I mean, there's so much clay compacted in there. The grounds crew does such a great job, Bill Finley and his crew. So, I mean, if you want to dig a hole, you really have to work to dig it.
And the 1-2 is swung on and missed. Strikeout for Cabrera. 7th National to strike out tonight.
97 will play. Just challenge him right down the middle. Here comes a fastball with a 13-run lead. That's how you do it.
Here's Soto. 1 for 2 at the RBI double off the wall in right. That was back in inning number 3. Nationals with 3 hits tonight.
Kind of like this matchup right here. Power on power.
Yeah.
Now Cabrera is obviously going to pitch this a little bit differently with a 13-run cushion than maybe would in a tight ball game, but who knows, depending on how much Cabrera is used here, and he might be asked for multiple innings. This could be one we see tomorrow.
Up and in. So apparently he went, couldn't hold up. Remember how we talked about that Juan Soto does not give away at bats? It's 14-1. It's 0-2 now, and he wasn't happy about that.
No, he wasn't happy about that, and I'm not sure he's going to be happy about this nasty breaking ball that Cabrera snaps off on it. So we saw him pitch him in there. He's probably going to throw the heater off. He's chatting up the home plate umpire right now. He's talking to Lance Barksdale about that.
And the 0-2 swung on and missed. Slams his bat in frustration. Back-to-back Ks for Cabrera. And Soto staring at the third base umpire that rung him up on that second strike. Look at that. I mean, he is not happy.
Cabrera sticking with the hard stuff too. When you got 97, go ahead. You've seen Soto kind of bailing out on that. And you're right, he's staring right through the third base umpire. That's Dan Bellino over there.
Here is Josh Bell. Now, does an umpire let that go when Dan Bellino is, let's say, behind the plate, or is it talked about, brought up again?
I would say this. He wasn't vocal about it. I mean, it was obvious what he was doing there. I think that every human handles things differently. Everybody has different grudges they may hold.
Off the bat of Bell into center. Catch made by Dylan Carlson midway through 6. And it's all St. Louis tonight here in Game 2. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Looking ahead to tomorrow, still unfinished business here, but Adam Wainwright going in the day game, and it's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Made 15 starts, a record of 10-4 against the Nationals, and behind the plate, more than likely Yadier Molina, which will be games caught number 2,000 for Yadi. So history will be made tomorrow with that first pitch.
That's going to be a special moment for sure. Nationals go to the bullpen. Chevy called to the bullpen. Wander Suero into the game, his 5th game of the season.
Stevenson, who had the pinch hit home run last night, takes over in right field. There he is. Soto out of the game, and Jordy Mercer is at short.
See what, Stevenson did a nice job while there were so many guys that were on the COVID IL, kind of filled in, was getting a lot of the playing time with Schwarber out. It's a nice piece for them.
Top of the lineup, and Tommy Edman. Been on base 3 times. He scored 2 runs. And a ground ball hit to Harrison for the first out. Pinch hitting for Paul Goldschmidt. It'll be John Nagowski. So a chance to give some of the bench guys on both sides some playing time, and some of the regulars with a quick turnaround 12-15 start tomorrow, get them off their feet.
Yeah, it ends up buying you maybe another start for some guys that you were thinking about maybe giving a day off to. Want to see Nagowski get some reps anyhow.
Well, this is a way that a manager somehow, some way can keep players as sharp as you might be as a bench player. It's just not an easy thing to do. So you buy some at bats here or there. Live pitching. 0-1. Pulled foul, 0-2. We're talking about Yadier Molina. And he's still a long ways away to get to Pudge Rodriguez. Now he'll be the first to do 2,000 games caught with one team. Yadi will turn 39 in July. He would need to play beyond his 42nd birthday to have a shot at passing Pudge Rodriguez. Pudge had 2,427 games caught and the all-time leader. That is incredible.
Is it crazy to think that that is very doable for Yadi?
Well, if he plays like he's been playing, no.
That should be easy enough, right?
Who would have thought, though, looking at him when he first came up, that he would play this long? I mean, he's done a great job of being in shape, keeping himself in shape.
Yeah, he doesn't just roll out of bed and then he just does this. He works his butt off to be able to do what he's doing.
2-2 the count here on Nagowski. Cardinals sent 14 to the plate in the bottom of the 5th and picked up 9. They've out hit the Nats 14-3. The 2-2 to John Nagowski. Puts it in play, hit to third. Out number 2. Pinch hitting for Nolan Arenado, Edmundo Sosa. Haven't seen much of Sosa at all in this first couple of weeks of the regular season. Two outs and nobody on. Cody Whitley throwing in the Cardinal pen. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think Tyler Webb will appear in tonight's game.
Why? He's got a streak to uphold.
He's already had 7 appearances.
That guy wants to be a league leader. 7 out of 10 games. Thrown in the last 3 straight. I would say they told him, hey, don't put your spikes on today.
It's the second most appearances by a Cardinal through the first 10 games of a season. Sosa lifts a fly ball to center. Steve Klein had the most. He had 8 back in 02. We head to the 7th. Cardinals on top, 14-1.
Cards working over the Nets as we move to the 7th. Yachty will hit the 2,000 game milestone tomorrow. Mike Schilt was talking about that accomplishment on his pregame Zoom today. Schilt said, I put it in context by looking at the Cal Ripken streak. All those years, all those games, rarefied air. Schilt said to do what Yachty has done while catching is more than just performance. It's pain tolerance. He said, you see Yachty take a foul tip and shake it off like it never happened. He's amazing. Dan, it's going to be a fun game tomorrow. We got a fun one tonight, too.
Yep, 14-1. History will be made tomorrow, as always, Jim. Best in the business. Thanks for what you bring to our games. Here's Cody Whitley making his season debut as we play here in the top of the 7th, and greeted with a base hit off the bat of Schwarber. That's down into the right field corner. Schwarber will stop at second base, and that's how we start play here in the 7th. Hard not to like what you saw from Cody Whitley last year.
Yeah, he looked really good. It was a guy, and I'd mentioned this the other day when Johan Oviedo came into the game, and he looked great. In spring training last year, I asked, who do I need to see? And those were the 2 names that I kept hearing over and over again, were Oviedo and Whitley.
Nagowski stays in the ball game. He's at first base. Sosa stayed in. He's at third. And the batter is Starlin Castro. Popped up. Carpenter with a catch. Almost caught it with his teeth, but he made the play. That'd have been something.
That ball backs up on you.
I guess so.
It's spinning a little bit.
Here's Harrison, who is singled to center and then tried to stretch a single into a double. And it was an outfield assist from Justin Williams. Williams not to be overlooked in this game. This has been a really good game for him. The outfield assist, that was a key spot. And he's been on base 3 times. A walk, 2 hits. Run scored. He's driven in 3. And the other time that he made an out, it was a screamer out to left that had a lot of top spin that Schwarber went back on and fell down and made a catch on the track. So he's had a nice game.
He has had a nice game, and a lot of guys that have been scuffling, getting a little confidence in this one.
Right field. Sliding catch, Tommy Edman. That's 2, Tommy.
Said I know. Just checking you guys. Friendship test.
Just making sure you guys are on your toes.
Friendship test, you guys all passed.
It happens.
Yeah.
I was talking with Larry Walker. Do you remember when he gave the ball?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
And I said to Larry one time, we were talking, I said, hey, do you remember that time at Dodger Stadium? He goes,
You remember that one time?
yeah. And he said, yes. And then he told me the young man's name. And he told me everything about him. That's how far it went.
Uh-huh. Larry had a Hall of Fame career, is a Hall of Famer, getting enshrined into Cooperstown this summer, and I'm so excited for him.
Me too.
But that's like the first question he gets a lot of times.
Yeah.
You remember that one time?
I mean, he stopped me just like you did and went through the kid's name, his family, knew all about him. Pitch that misses into Avila. So leadoff double by Schwarber. Pop out by Castro. Harrison fly to right, and the 1-1 pitch popped up and out of play.
I know it just ends up being a blip on the radar here too, but I love what I saw out of Genesis Cabrera last inning. Just coming in, rocking and firing, only threw 2 off-speed pitches during that. He's blowing 97, 98. He was spotting up. I could absolutely see a matchup tomorrow with he and Soto.
Do you take these games, and I know it's Major League Baseball and it's every at bat counts. You find that sometimes guys are working on things. So, you know, all of a sudden Genesis Cabrera says, didn't throw a lot of sliders, didn't throw the breaking pitch. I'm throwing 97. Maybe this is something I need to be doing more of.
I think it ends up being a really good thing for him specifically, because his stuff is so good and his breaking ball's nasty too. But the fastball
really
plays
good
within the zone. I mean, he blew the 97 right past Trey Turner right down the middle. I think it's just, it reminds you of how good your stuff is in an outing like that, and that you don't always have to go to the breaking ball first.
The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Nice debut in 2021 for Cody Whitley. Gave up the double, got the next 3. Time to stretch. Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Saiban Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. "14 hits, 14-1 our score." With Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And our Chevy call to the pen will take us to Austin Voth. We saw him start a couple of times against the Cardinals in spring. There was some thought that he might be their 5th starter coming out of that camp too. Honda home run inning. $1,000 donation will be made to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by your Gateway Honda dealers if the Cardinals hit a home run. Here's Paul DeYoung. DeYoung, Carpenter, and Carlson. Paul has had 2 runs scored tonight, a walk and a single. Also with the bases loaded, grounded into a double play and struck out. Here's a 1-0 pitch. You just hope that DeYoung's last base hit, last plate appearance was something that clicked, because he was able to take the ball to right. And before the shutdown, spring training a year ago, he was hitting the ball with authority everywhere, everywhere. And was poised to have a big year.
Yeah, he was doing it to both righties and lefties. Like his at bat last time, it was against the lefty Avalon, who throws that backdoor breaking ball. And it was a slower pitch, but the fact that he recognized it, stayed on it, it's important. And again, Paul DeYoung is going to be very important to this team's success this year.
And the 1-2. A strikeout of DeYoung. Just tell at times he's in between, isn't he?
It happens when you're not recognizing the pitches as well. If you find your timing off a little bit, you're thinking instead of reacting.
Well, speaking of good at bats, we've seen some good ones tonight from Matt Carpenter. Struck out in the second, 2-run homer off the foul pole in the third. Hit a ball 105 miles per hour into the shift, in and out of the glove of Castro, and a sac fly and an RBI back in that big 5th inning in which the Cardinals got 9 runs. And to the delight of many, the woo is back.
Thank goodness.
As you said, it was soothing, I think is the way you described it last night.
I got multiple messages after
you were so happy about it too.
Said, man, I just slept like a baby.
Yeah.
I actually called you earlier today.
You did. You left me a message with it.
You didn't answer.
I called you back.
And to my delight, I got your voicemail. And instead of just saying, hey, Dan, it's Brad, you already know. So I left you a few woos.
You sure did. You sure did.
What are friends for?
Got it.
If you need something tonight to put you to bed, if your white noise or your the ocean sounds aren't working, go to your voicemail.
You're blocked.
Again?
Again. The 2-1 pitch here to Carpenter. 3-1.
I'll get a burner phone.
I leave those go too, just FYI.
I'll come up with some clever name for it. Pop up on your caller ID. I'll get you. I get back in. I always do.
And the 3-1. Big Cardinal fan Sue Friend from Belleville, Illinois, is watching us tonight, taking in Cardinals baseball. She's a grandmother. She's been a Cardinal fan her whole life. And the 3-2 pitch. Carpenter again hit hard, and a nice play by Starlin Castro. But you'll take it.
Carpenter looks right now. He's seeing the ball. He's squaring it up again. There's a reason that he's kept getting in the lineup here more and more. He strokes this one. Really nice play. Top spin again.
Really
Castro
good play.
gets it on the short pick.
Dylan Carlson on base 3 times tonight. Carlson breaks his bat, and now his 3rd hit. He had been working on a few mechanical things with his lower half here the last couple of days, and obviously that work is paying off. His timing looks better tonight too.
It does for sure. It just looks like he's able to get to pitches a little bit better. This is 1-2 that he struggles with a lot. Catches it off the end of the bat, but able to muscle it into center field. The changeup from the right he gets him, whether it's the changeup or the split, and stays on that one a little bit better.
Andrew Kisner. Another play behind Dylan Carlson here. 2 hits to center, the infield hit. Kisner on base 3 times, pair of walks, single to left, and a run scored. Flip to second for the force. We head to the 8th, and it's 14-1. Look at the game summary. Top of the 8th we go. 14-1 Cardinals. Rough night for Steven Strasburg, who did pitch into the 5th inning. 8 hits, 7 earned. Soto 1 for 3. But a big, and I mean big, 5th inning for the Cardinals. 9 runs. They've got 15 hits in this game. The 2nd inning now for Cody Whitley. And this will be Jordy Mercer. Mercer, Robles, and Stevenson.
Learned something with the alternate side. If you get recalled from the alternate side, you're pitching. You're getting right in there. It was Johan Oviedo, barely got to eat his breakfast, and then he was in the 2nd inning on Sunday. He was great, 4 2/3. Cody Whitley in today. Oviedo reassigned to the camp, to the alternate side.
You pitch for the man, and I always thought it was very smart how he handled a call-up, whether it was in the bullpen, starter, position player, but Tony La Russa would put that player in immediately. And it was by design.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Tony about that, and he said, I didn't want guys sitting around waiting and thinking. Go out and play. You're here for a reason.
Yeah, mine actually ended up taking a few days, but to that point, my first game that I got called up, he got me hot in the bullpen in a really tight game that he knew darn well he wasn't going to put me in. But I got the juices flowing, and I got the emotions of it and kind of got that out of the way. And then when I finally did get into a ball game, I at least was calmed down a little bit.
I love the video of when they throw it around the horn, and it always finishes normally with the third baseman. Then he'll flip it to the pitcher or put it in his glove or throw it right to him. And that day it happened to be Scott Rowland during your debut, and he had some words of wisdom.
Oh, he did. He looks around, and this is in Bush too, so you know, all encompassing. He's like, "Man, a lot of people here, huh?" "Yes, Mr. Rowland, yeah, a lot of people here." "Your parents here?" I'm like, "Oh, no, they're going to be here in a couple days." "All right, well, good luck." Just flip me the ball.
A high fly ball off the bat of Mercer, and the catch made by Williams. Cardinals Kids Club, presented by Rawlings, is the exclusive fan club for kids 13 and under. And the membership will include a fleece blanket, wall sign, virtual events, and it's all for just $33. Sign up and join us. Cardinals.com/Kids Club.
To hang out with Fredbird sometimes.
There you go. He's going to be part of those virtual events, I'm told.
Of course he is. Yeah, he's been doing all kinds of stuff.
Under the glove of Whitley. Carpenter will make the play, and Robles is out number 2. Yeah, Scott Rowland, if you were a fan, and it's awesome for us to be around the team in normal circumstances, so on the buses, the planes, the hotels, run into a guy at a restaurant, coffee shop, whatever, on a walk. Fans would see this hard-nosed guy, and I mean, he played hard. It was just a privilege to watch him play the game of baseball. And he's on his way to the Hall of Fame. And you wouldn't see all the emotion that we see of a lot of things that happened today. That's out to center. But he was a smart aleck.
Oh, he's funny.
Big time.
Sneaky funny.
Yes. He'd let you know about it. 14-1. Budweiser plays of the game. Paul Goldschmidt, career home run number 250. marvelous career that he's had. Same can be said about Nolan Arenado. He blasted one, and so did Carpenter. And a curtain call to boot. Hernan Perez has 7 1/3 innings in his career on the mound. Position player. So the Nationals, who've been hit with COVID, limited start this season. And Jonathan Lucroy was their opening day starter. He was signed right before the season. He's been DFA'd. And by the way, you know what happened with him? He got that magical number that any baseball player wants to get to. 10 years of Major League service.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, the Union, Lucroy, the Nationals, everybody played that one really well too, because while you're in limbo there, you still accrue service time.
And a strikeout of Justin Williams.
Hernan Perez has got a little strut too.
He's got a little bit of the Trevor Bauer. He's got a little Trevor Bauer going.
Position player pitching.
He drops down there. And
so who else wants some of this?
Yeah.
Justin Williams coming back and say, guys, wait back a little bit.
Yeah.
What does he have? That's probably what somebody said. Real smart aleck. Hey, what's he got?
Here's Lane Thomas. And that's pulled foul.
He's still throwing harder than that eephus that Zach Greinke threw out there.
Dropped in for a strike, too.
It was a hammer. I think it was 51 or 52.
Fouled back, and it's 0-2. I think it was 51 miles per hour. I saw it on one of the replays.
Just laid it in there.
Oh, 54. 54 miles an hour, and Perez has a pair of strikeouts and strutting out there. Give me that ball.
Throw one in the 40s.
54 miles an hour here.
You won't do it. You see that thing just float off his fingers. I don't know why, but position players pitching to me is wildly entertaining.
Remember
when it's the other team.
Yeah. Aaron Miles would do this. Skip Schumacher did it.
Skip threw harder than I did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Skip.
He had a, well, I don't want that out of position player. I want a guy below the hitting speed like this. And a fly ball off the bat of Tommy Edman. Hernan Perez puts down the Cardinals 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts.
Change of plans. You're starting tomorrow.
Cardinals Magazine brings you the stories you haven't heard about. And you'll get them all with a subscription by calling 314-345-9000. And you can visit cardinals.com/magazine. 14-1 in favor of the Cardinals, and Daniel Ponce de Leon will be the new pitcher. Made the start on Sunday, went an inning and a third. Mike Schilt indicated in Jim's report that could see Daniel tonight, and here we go. Chevy call to the pen. So far the bullpen's been really good. Cabrera scoreless 6th inning, Whitley a scoreless 7th and 8th, and now Daniel Ponce de Leon. We have such great men and women of our crew, and a happy birthday to Tim Garcia. Tim has been on our crews with baseball and basketball and hockey for many, many years. So happy birthday to Tim Garcia.
Happy birthday, Timmy.
Well, the pitcher hitting for himself. It just happens to be Hernan Perez.
It's a 9-pitch inning.
Also happy birthday to John Lawrence. Runs one of our cameras here at the ballpark. Happy birthday, guys. And the 0-2 pitch. Fouled back. Popped up again and out of play.
Trainer's coming out to look at Ponch. Saw him shaking his arm a couple of times. Chris Conroy, Mike Schilt, Mike Maddox on their way out. Ponch tried to wave him off, said, "I'm just limbering up."
It was right when he got the ball back. Take a look here. Yep, shaking out the right arm. He said the other day in his start he felt great warming up and then got out on the mound and said it felt like 100 pounds. And the 0-2 popped up. Nagowski is over near the Cardinal dugout and out of play.
I'd love to see Ponch just bounce back from that rocky one on Sunday. You know how hard he works. You know how good the stuff is. We've seen him succeed at this level. But it was not his day Sunday. And you have those days sometimes. You warm up in the bullpen, you feel great, you get out on the mound, and then you find yourself feeling for it. And then there are other days you feel terrible in the pen, you get out on the game mound, and you deal.
Out to center, there's Lane Thomas. Well, what we thought would be a pitcher's duel tonight is a 14-1 Cardinals lead here in the 9th inning.
I'm okay with the way this shook out, Dan. I like movies where I think I know what the ending's going to be, and then there's a twist.
Well, I wonder if that twist may have been a compromised Steven Strasburg.
Could have been. Well, we saw him working on the shoulder. Looked like the right trap area, but they let him go out there.
And the 1-0. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, we see Ponce de Leon kind of shaking out his right arm, and Strasburg, we had a shot of him feeling the back of his pitching shoulder. It's one thing to see that. It's another thing then to look at the drop in velocity.
Yeah, drop in velocity, the mechanics that he couldn't repeat during the game, the mistakes that he just generally doesn't make. You know, we haven't seen Steven Strasburg like that very many times throughout his career.
And a 1-out walk. Great Tommy, our director tonight. Brian Shapiro, our producer. Keith O'Brien, his assistant Keith Overman, and Brian McCann, all helping us out tonight. Schwarber with a double into the right field corner back in the 7th inning. 1 for 3 tonight. And the 0-1 hit out of play. Nothing in 2 the count. They're playing behind the runner at first. That's Josh Bell. Reminder tomorrow, first pitch at 12:15. The early start. Adam Wainwright, Joe Ross. Quick turnaround for these clubs. Be a pass ball, I think, on Kisner. And indeed, it is ruled a pass ball. And the 1-2 pitch.
As you mentioned, the quick turnaround tomorrow. It's amazing, though, how much better you sleep and how much easier you wake up when you're on the right side of a 14-1 ball game.
The 2-2 is taken inside. And the next to Schwarber. Shallow left, and that'll drop for a base hit. Runners at the corners. So a 2-hit night for Kyle Schwarber.
I'm not sure Kyle Schwarber knew where this ball was coming off the bat, but he serves it in the left field. He looked foul first and then found it.
So runners at the corners and Starlin Castro. And out of play. Mike Schilt talked the other day about Daniel. So with his starts, it's kind of a tightrope, is how he described it. And you know what he's saying is just not a lot of margin for error.
Well, he's got a fastball that runs into the mid-90s. The cutter's good. He's got a really good breaking ball. It's just inconsistent.
Popped up, Carpenter going out, and he'll make the catch. Runners stay put at first and third. Well, the Woo sometimes gets to a fever pitch. There's some that are probably yearning for cardboard cutouts.
Do you think you come to the ballpark knowing you're going to be a wooer in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, or do you think that the spirit just moves you?
Oh, I think
to start doing it.
Jim Hayes is directing fans not to woo during his post-game interview.
He prefers the wave.
Shallow right, and a great effort, but coming up short, Tommy Edman. A couple of runs will score, and that'll make it 14-3. It's got to be frustrating for Daniel Ponce de Leon.
It is for sure. Schwarber serves one into left field, doesn't even know if it's fair or foul. That drops in. This one just drops in on the other line. When it rains, it pours. Executes a couple of really good pitches and end up just falling in the right spot.
Alex Avila. Pitch count at 20 for Daniel Ponce de Leon. Couple that with his start on Sunday. It's a lot of pitches. I don't know when you can come back to him. And the 1-0 pitch to Avila. 2-0 the count. Seen him now shake that arm a couple of times.
Just love fastball strike here. Let it be able to hit it at somebody.
2 outs, runner at second. 2-0 pitch is grounded foul. Avila is struck out twice and grounded out into the shift. The 2-1 pitch. Hit down the right field line. It is hooking, and it's a foul ball. And the Nationals down to their final strike, 2-2 the count with 2 outs, runner at second, 14-3 our score. Wainwright and Ross tomorrow at 12:15. We'll be on the air at 11:30. Time called. Two. Taken high, and it's 3-2.
You got to give Ponce to get him right here. I know he's probably tired, worn down from Sunday. The last thing you need is to get somebody else up in the bullpen. 24 pitches right now for Daniel Ponce de Leon. Really got to bear down here.
And the 3-2 pitch to Avila. He walked him. And Mike Maddox will go out and visit with his right-hander.
Mike Maddox has such a calming presence to him. He's able to slow things down. You know, Daniel Ponce de Leon, while you're trying to focus on the task at hand, you also, you just had the Rocky game on Sunday. You have a couple of balls that just drop in. It's hard to let that not get to you, but it's about focusing right here on the task at hand. And hopefully Mike Maddox is able to calm him down, get him down in the strike zone, and here we go.
Andrew Miller starts to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. So here is Mercer with 2 on and 2 outs. Popped up, and this should do it. Sosa in foul territory makes the catch, and the Cardinals win it. Take game 2, 14-3.
14 runs, 15 hits, a 9-run 5th inning. We saw the long balls from Goldie, Arenado, Carpenter. What a day for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Needed that offensive explosion. They got it. Big night for the offense. Losing streak is done. Rubber game tomorrow. Post-game show comes your way next.